Did you know a book was once banned for being too real? Yes, a book that spoke so honestly about teenage angst and rebellion that it was deemed too controversial for young minds. That's what happened to The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. This novel has been both celebrated and censored, sparking debates for decades. It's a book that takes you inside the head of a teenager named Holden Caulfield. Through his eyes, we experience the raw and unfiltered emotions of adolescence. Holden is a lot like you. He's relatable, flawed, and searching for meaning in a world that often feels superficial. He's trying to figure out who he is and where he fits in. This journey of self-discovery is something every teenager can relate to. He's angry, confused, and scared. He makes mistakes, but these mistakes are part of his growth, part of his struggle to find his place. But most of all, he just wants to connect with someone who understands. This longing for genuine connection is a central theme in his story. Holden's story starts at Pensy Prep, a fancy boarding school he hates. The school's polished exterior hides a world of pretentiousness and hypocrisy. He sees everyone there as phonies. To him, the people around him are insincere and obsessed with trivial matters. They care about the wrong things: grades, status, looking cool. These are the things that Holden finds meaningless. Holden wants something more genuine. He craves authenticity in a world that seems to value the opposite, but finding it feels impossible. The more he searches, the more elusive it becomes. Have you ever felt that way? Like you're searching for something real in a world full of facades? Like the people around you are playing a game you don't understand? That's Holden's world. A world where he feels like an outsider, and he's about to take us on a journey through it, a journey that explores the complexities of growing up and the search for identity and belonging. Holden doesn't last long at Pensy. He gets expelled, again. This time it's for failing all his classes except English. He doesn't really care about school. He sees it as another breeding ground for phonies. He packs his bags and leaves school early. He doesn't want to face his roommate or teachers. He feels like a complete outcast. He decides to spend a few days wandering around New York City before he goes home. Maybe in the city he can find some answers, or at least some escape. Have you ever just wanted to run away, to escape from all the pressures and expectations? That's what Holden is doing. But he's about to learn that running away doesn't solve anything. It just brings you face to face with yourself. New York City becomes Holden's playground, a vast urban jungle where he can lose himself in the crowd. He checks into a cheap hotel, a place that mirrors his own sense of disarray and confusion. He goes to the movies, seeking a brief escape from his thoughts, hoping the silver screen can offer some solace. He even tries to pick a fight in a bar, perhaps looking for a way to externalize his inner turmoil. He meets all sorts of people along the way, each with their own stories and struggles. But none of them seem to get him, leaving him feeling more isolated than ever. They're all caught up in their own little worlds, oblivious to his silent cries for help. He keeps thinking about his little brother, Allie, whose memory haunts him. Allie died from leukemia a few years back, a loss that left a permanent scar on Holden's heart. Holden hasn't really dealt with his grief, burying it deep inside instead. He keeps Allie's baseball mitt with him, a tangible connection to his lost brother. It's a reminder of his brother's innocence and the pain of his loss, a symbol of what once was. Loss is a part of life, an inevitable experience we all must face. It's something we all experience, a universal truth that binds us together. How do we deal with the pain? How do we find a way to move forward? How do we keep the memories of those we've lost alive, ensuring they remain a part of us? Holden's journey is a reminder that grief can be a heavy burden to carry alone, but it's a journey we all must take. Before we continue, if you're enjoying the content, hit like and subscribe for more insightful summaries. One of the most interesting people Holden meets is Jane Gallagher. She's a girl he used to know from summer camp. He remembers her as being different, special, someone who understands him. He calls her up, hoping to reconnect. But, their conversation doesn't go as planned. Holden keeps searching for authenticity in a world that feels fake. He hates phonies, he hates hypocrisy. He wants people to be real. But what does it even mean to be real? Is it even possible in a world that often feels superficial? These are questions that Holden grapples with. They're questions that we all grapple with. What does it mean to be true to ourselves? How do we find our place in a world that can feel overwhelming and confusing? Holden's adventures in New York City are a mix of humor and despair. He goes on dates that go nowhere. He gets into trouble with strangers. He even considers running away to the West and pretending to be deaf-mute. He keeps thinking about the ducks in Central Park. He wonders where they go when the lake freezes over. It's a metaphor for his own search for belonging. Where do we go when things get tough? Who do we turn to for support? Holden's experiences, though sometimes funny, highlight the vulnerability and loneliness that many teenagers feel. He's searching for connection in all the wrong places. He's pushing people away even as he craves their understanding. In the end, Holden's journey leads him to a breakdown. His struggles have been immense, and the weight of his experiences has finally caught up with him. He's physically and emotionally exhausted. He's lost and confused. The city, once a place of endless possibilities, now feels like a labyrinth with no exit, but there's a glimmer of hope. Amidst the chaos and despair, a small light begins to shine through the darkness. He watches Phoebe, his little sister, ride the carousel in Central Park. Her laughter and joy are infectious, reminding him of simpler, happier times. He realizes that maybe growing up isn't so bad. The innocence and purity of childhood are beautiful, but there's also beauty in the journey of growing up and discovering oneself. Maybe it's okay to let go of childhood and embrace the future. The future, with all its uncertainties, holds the promise of new beginnings and endless possibilities. The ending of The Catcher in the Rye is left open to interpretation. It's a story that doesn't provide clear answers, but instead invites us to ponder and reflect. Is Holden going to be okay? Will he find the strength to move forward and heal from his past? Will he find his way? The path ahead is uncertain, but it's filled with potential and hope. We don't know for sure. The ambiguity of his fate leaves us with questions, but also with a sense of possibility. But his story leaves us with a sense of hope. Hope that even in the darkest of times, there's a chance for redemption and a brighter future. The light breaking through the clouds symbolizes the hope that never truly fades. The Catcher in the Rye is a story about the struggles of adolescence. It's a tale that resonates with anyone who has ever felt lost or out of place. It's about the pain of growing up and the search for identity. The journey to find oneself is fraught with challenges, but it's also filled with moments of self-discovery. It's a reminder that we all feel lost and alone sometimes. These feelings are a natural part of the human experience, but it's also a reminder that there's hope. There's always hope. What do you think? Do you believe in Holden's potential for redemption? Does Holden find his way? The journey is his to make, and the choices are his to take. Or is he still out there searching? The search for meaning and purpose is a lifelong journey, one that we all embark on in our own ways. We reach the end, but before you leave, let us know in the comments if you are going to read the book. Also, join our community of passionate readers by simply subscribing to our channel, where your love for knowledge and great stories truly matters.